Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited, we are on the record.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarina Fazan and welcome to this episode of On the Record. On today's episode, something close to my heart and to many in the community, the most vulnerable people and how to help them, especially children. We love to share so many of the great individuals in the community doing just that. So today it's my pleasure to talk about Lutheran Family Services, and joining me in the studio today is Amelia Fox and Lisa Mayrose. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here.
Thank you.
So let's get started. Tell us a little bit, and Amelia, you can start. Tell us a little bit about Lutheran Family Services and what you guys are all about.
So thank you, and thank you for hosting us. We are very excited to be here.
Oh gosh, well thank you. It's our pleasure. You know, I have to say, we always ask the community to send in ideas, you know, who they want to hear from. And you guys are on the set today because we did get an email from a viewer that asked to highlight your organization.
Wow.
Wonderful. Yeah, so
that makes my day.
Yeah.
Thank you
Makes
to
mine
that viewer. So we're actually celebrating 40 years of service.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
So we have been serving Florida for the last 40 years. All throughout the state. We've got about 1,500 people that work really primarily to help struggling families and youth in crisis through a variety of different programs. We started, it's a neat story, we started as a kind of a set of missions, really. There was a youth shelter in Broward County, Lippman, that we still operate today, a Head Start program in Belle Glade that we still operate today, and the work we were doing here in the Tampa Bay area was primarily around working with refugees from Haiti and Cuba and in Vietnam. And those ministries came together to form Lutheran Services Florida, and we have grown since then tremendously to that little start, and to Reverend Delmar Guzdahl, who had the vision to put us together. We're very, very thankful for that.
We should have him on the show.
We can have him on the show. He lives in Finesse. We should definitely
bring him on the show. And Lisa, before we go to you, Amelia, what is your position at
LSF?
Yes.
I am the Chief Strategy Officer and Chief of Staff. And so I moved down here about 6 years ago for this job, not from the nonprofit space, but moved down to work with LSF. And we had grown tremendously. And so just trying to help us get our arms around that growth and continue serving more people throughout Florida.
Wow, wonderful. So Lisa, okay, now what is your position there? And you've been there for quite a while, though.
I have. So in a couple weeks, I'm celebrating my 3rd year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
So that's exciting. I have the privilege, Serena, being the Regional Director for Lutheran Services Florida. And I help to oversee the majority of our child welfare programs across the state. So serving those struggling families, youth in crisis. We have several case management organizations across the state, and many of them based right here in the Tampa Bay area.
So let me ask you guys this. I know you are largely funded, right, by government funding, but how do people find you? Like how do they find you? If they need help, or do you seek out these families?
So a lot of these families are referred to us through either our funders, our contracted funders across the state. So if there's a community member that has a concern about a family that needs help or a child that's in need of help, they can contact a hotline, and that hotline would then basically get us involved to help wrap that family in services, try to keep that family safe, make sure that the child is safe, happy, well taken care of. And we basically engage the family early on. We try to learn a lot about them. How can we help them? And not to give them a hand out, but a hand up. And so we rely so heavily on our community partners, our local churches, and all of the folks in our community that are willing to really step up to help these families, because we can't do it alone.
And with these families then that do get help, is there any cost to them, or how does that work?
There's not a cost to the families. So the ones, particularly that Lisa's talking about, who referred to us, we're funded through the state to help them, and that helping really try to restore the family, pull the youth out of crisis is what we're doing through these government grants. So no, there's not a cost to work with us. And in some of the other programs, where people sort of find us more on their own, and either our Head Start programs or our refugee programs, again, there's no cost to those programs for the families.
So, and I know we touched upon this at the very beginning of the show, but go a little bit more in depth about the specific programs.
So we have kind of three big buckets, really, if you want to think of it that way. We do a lot of work with the safety net of insurance. And so underinsured and uninsured individuals who are experiencing substance abuse and mental health issues. We work in a 23-county region with the providers in that region to make sure that they're receiving the services that they need and that they're receiving adequate services. And a lot of,
yeah,
it's a big, and you can imagine, it's an ever-growing, Dr. Caulfield runs that program for us, and she has just done a tremendous job of really destigmatizing mental health issues, coming up with innovative ideas of ways to do co-responder programs and peer support specialist programs. So that's a big chunk of work.
And we need it now more than ever.
We need it now more than ever.
I mean, more than ever.
Yes.
More than ever. So it's
Absolutely.
Super, right.
It's so important. We have a big chunk of work where we work with the little kids and their families. We have 4 or 5 Head Start programs, big Head Start programs across the state, and serve almost 7,000 kids a year in Head Start and their families to try to make sure that those kids are getting all the education support that they need early. I mean, you know, like what you know at 3 and the vocabulary you have at 3 really determines your ability to graduate. So we are pouring into those families and helping them be ready for their kids to go to kindergarten. And then our sort of other big chunk of work that we do is in the social services, the more legacy kind of core social services work. And that's where we're working with kids in foster care. We're working with families to try to help them stay out of foster care. We're working with families all across the Tampa Bay region through family resource centers if they have need to try to help get them jobs, new skills, medical support, parental guidance. It's sort of the list is broad. We actually have about 65 plus programs across the state.
Well, that's wonderful.
It's a big, complex organization.
Yes.
But at the core, we are really there to try to help make kids safer, families stronger, and communities more vibrant. That is our goal.
And you know, and honestly, you start with the kids, right? You start with the kids, and building a solid foundation for their future is going to help the entire community and all of society.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree with that?
Right.
Absolutely. And we just, there's countless stories, Sarina, of
Share
the families. So
Share some.
I would love to. So, you know, we recently had a mom that moved down here from up north. She had a 2-year-old recently divorced. So single parent, 2-year-old, tough enough already, right?
Absolutely.
And she had her elderly parents lived here in Florida. Her dad unfortunately passed away, who was also mom's caregiver. So she came down to Florida to become her mom's caregiver. Had to quit her job, had to sell her car so that she could travel down to Florida. And when she arrived here, she literally had nothing. She had no support system, she had no job, and here she has her elderly mom who needs constant care. She's got a 2-year-old.
Who needs constant care.
Exactly. She's looking for a job, but there's no vehicle. When she first came down, she was able to find a child care facility that was about a mile from the house, and then a job about 2 miles beyond that. She walked daily to the child care facility to put her child in child care while she worked $16, $17 an hour, which, as we all know, child care is not inexpensive. So she was basically
paying for the child care.
Exactly.
Gosh.
So once we were able to learn of her story, we had a call to action from the community and said, how can we, you know, set this mom up for success? Because under the best conditions, that is an impossible task, what she had ahead of her. So we were so fortunate to have just wonderful people in the community. We were able to get her a car donated, so she no longer had to walk her child to the child care and then walk to work. We were able to get her subsidized child care so that she was not paying for all of that out of pocket. We also linked her to a community church that had their own child care facility, so she was able to save money beyond that. And then we were able to hook her up through her mom's own insurance to try to help with some 24-hour nursing care.
You know, isn't that something, and this is just one story you're sharing of thousands and thousands of stories, but it does go to show that there is so much help out there, and we do live in a great community with great people, but sometimes it is just a matter of knowing about it.
Right.
So getting the message out.
Yes.
And thank you for allowing us to help you get the message out about your great organization. How else would you say that you are trying to make the community aware of what you're doing?
We're doing a lot of things. We are out and about, right? We're really working to raise awareness of the work we do. I kind of say when I meet people, I say, we're the infrastructure of Tampa Bay. We're underneath a lot of what's going on and working with those families, like Lisa just described, who are trying so hard. And if we can help them, then the whole community becomes more vibrant. And so from that side of it, we're in any podcast, TV show we can get on, we'll be there. Like I said, we're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, so we are having parties throughout the state to celebrate that. We're going to be having a big one in September here in Tampa.
September 21st, call to action. They don't have a location yet, so anybody that's watching that, like, oh my gosh, we'll volunteer our spot.
Please, we would love a nice location to have a really lovely cocktail party where you can learn a lot more about LSF. So we're doing that, and we're actually in the middle of a campaign now to work with the kids that Lisa's talking about, our Baskets of Love campaign.
And we have the website that the link that we want
to put that up.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
It is a neat campaign. 1 in 3 kids that enter the foster care system are under the age of 3.
Wow, gosh.
1 in 3.
Gosh, those precious little babies,
They're little.
right? Oh my gosh, so little.
And those families like Lisa was just describing, I mean, the cost of gas right now, the cost of groceries right now, right? You can imagine, for any moms out there or dads out there, the stuff that your little kids need is a lot. Car seats, pack and plays, diapers, wipes, little things to cut nails and check ears. All of those things we desperately need for these families. So for the families that we're working with to try to keep them from entering the system, and then those families who are in the system as well, we were looking to raise $50,000 in donations and in kind goods to be able for our case managers to be able to take to those families. Because imagine if they can walk in to this stressed out mom, I got a car seat for you and I got a pack of diapers
for you.
Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh.
The tension relief, the ability for that mom to focus on her 2-year-old and just a little bit more. I mean, the ripple effects of that are huge. So,
and that's why the backslash is baskets because you want to present a basket. Now, the 50,000 goal. When do you hope to achieve that? I mean, how many months is this campaign?
June 24th.
June 24th.
June 24th.
The clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking.
All right, another call to action. All right. Are you sharing how much you've raised so far, or?
We don't. I don't have that with me right now, but we can. But we have an Amazon wish list page that has a lot of stuff bought on it already, and I know we've gotten in quite a few donations, but. We could take some more.
Yes, absolutely. So before we go to the break, then, the Amazon page, do you just search the name of the organization?
You can, or go to lsfnet.org/baskets, and everything is right there. You can do it as an individual. We also have a page if you want to be a champion and collect things in your office or collect things in your network. We have all the collateral for you to do that with us as well.
Yeah, and that's honestly wonderful to make it an office project as well, because everybody gets involved, and then you actually can see, things coming in or share with your colleagues. We've raised this much, and well, wonderful. Okay, so we are going to go to a break, but when we come back, I do want to talk about what we were talking about before the show. That of course you are faith-based. A faith-based organization, but there's some myths, right, that we want to debunk. So stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back, and we'll continue the conversation.
You use maps for travel, but did you know there's mapping for your skin? It's called Visia Skin Analysis.
Above average, that's pretty good.
Here's why I used it at South Tampa Dermatology. It scans your skin for sun damage and wrinkles. You can see how your skin compares with others in your age group. Why is this important?
So here's what we'll do.
It can target a treatment program to meet your needs and save your skin over time. Another reason why I rely on the dream team at South Tampa Dermatology.
Labelswap is a retail store that you can bring in the items you don't want anymore. We will buy them for either a cash offer or store credit, and you can also shop the items as well. We carry anything from H&M, Lululemon, up to your luxury items like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. There's nothing really around like it here in the market. It is a fun, personalized experience.
First, we're going to raise this $50,000.
Hey guys, welcome back to On the Record. During the break, we were talking about Lutheran Services Florida, yes. And I think I even said something wrong, you know, or like I didn't do the right title. But so it's LSF, though. So that's really easy to remember, the LSF. So what a great organization. And we were talking about your campaign. And during the break, you said there are some sponsors that you want to give thanks to.
Sarina. Thank you so much. We could not be successful with this drive without our partners. And I have to tell you, we really want to recognize we do have Planet Fitness that has partnered with us so strongly on this campaign. They have put out boxes at a number of their Tampa Bay facilities for folks to come in and drop off goods, such as Amelia spoke about, diapers, pack and plays, car seats, baby safety kits, things for our youngest children that are the most vulnerable. So, and they're also doing a raffle at many of their locations where folks, when they come in, present something, put it in the box, they get a raffle, and they have an opportunity to win a prize, such as a membership, free membership, gift cards from Dave & Buster's. There's a number of things.
That's fantastic.
Yes, so they have been such excellent partners. The 4 different locations that we currently have the boxes located are at our Riverview Plant Fitness, and that's at 9822 US 301. There's also the Seffner location, 725 West Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, at Plant City, 1864 James L. Redmond Parkway, and lastly, Palm Harbor at 30701 US Highway 19 North.
So let me ask you this. When people drop things off, do they, I mean, of course, certain things have to be new, right? But when it comes to like car seats and things like that, are you asking for new items or gently used, or?
We will take whatever folks are able to give. New or gently used would be great.
Okay, because I think that's good for people to know.
Pack and plays and car seats and high chairs and those kind of,
Right, because after, you know, you have them for a while, your kids grow up, but I know, it was so helpful to organizations like yours.
Absolutely.
So,
and interestingly, after you go to Planet Fitness and work out, Green Bench Brewery is working with us as well in St. Pete. And so you can go down to Green Bench and have your post-workout beverage and donate again.
Work up the thirst. Yeah, absolutely. And are there any more sponsors that you would like to give a shout out to? I know there's so many.
There's so many.
We do. Actually, we have some businesses who have actually donated money so that we could purchase these items for the families. Ace Golf, located in Riverview. We talked about Planet Fitness, Dave & Buster's in Tampa. 10 Performance, which is a nutritional supplement company, also located out of Tampa, and Fit Life Foods in Brandon.
Oh, wonderful. You know, so many reasons why I shared with you ladies before the show. I love this show so much because it's unedited, unscripted, and we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. And why not? Why not give shout outs to businesses that are helping the community?
Again, we can't do it alone.
I know, we really can't. I mean, we really, really can't. So let's now talk about it's Lutheran Services Florida. So it is faith-based, but there is something that you do want to clarify, that anyone, they don't even have to be a believer per se, right, can use your services. So I'll let you guys take it from here.
Well, so we are based in faith in the work that we do, but we're not a church. And we're not acting as a church. We partner with churches. We love our partner churches. They do a great job in the communities. But we are out to serve people who need serving, right? And so we answer the call to help any individual, family, or child in crisis that is, works in one of our programs. And it doesn't matter. You don't need to be Lutheran. You don't need to be Christian. You don't need to believe in anything for us to serve you and to work with you. And it's not part of the services that we're doing. So really, when you look at LSF, I get asked quite often, are you a church? And it's like, we're not. We're rooted in our mission and we're rooted in our faith in the work that we do, but that doesn't mean that everyone who works there or everyone we serve has the same beliefs.
Why do you think that's important to note and important to clarify the message?
I think partly it's important because one of the things, and I'll say from my own perspective, I came here from the profit sector, not knowing this. It's a little bit of a myth that the government funds faith-based organizations, and people are surprised by that. And so I think it's interesting for them to look at that distinction between the church-state mix, right? And so it kind of gets a little deep into that controversy or that conflict. But really, we are funded as a social service organization to serve those who need serving, and to serve the people who are struggling families and the children in crisis like we've talked about. But we're not funded to convert people to Christianity or to Lutheranism, if that...
You know, Amelia, you bring up a good point, too. And, you know, not to get so political on the show or anything, but Lisa and Amelia, you can weigh in on this. But I think especially now, in the climate that we live in, that... You know, we have seen the country more divided, right, than ever before. So I do feel it is important, more important to talk about this than ever before, so people have a good idea of what's happening. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that, 100%. These are tough times that we are in, and you know, our mission at Lutheran Services Florida is to serve those who need to be served, right?
Who need help.
Right, regardless. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care what religion, if any, that you believe in. If you need help, we want to be there. And that's what gets us up every day to do this work. And that's what our teams on the ground, who are amazing and committed to this work, do every single day.
And I think it is a reminder, you know, to say that, you know, I wasn't even born here, right? I was born in India. I'm an American citizen, of course, but it just reminds us of what a great country this really is, and how amazing the country is, and how much help there is out there through the government. Sorry, don't mean to preach or anything, right? Yeah. So thank you for sharing that and opening up about that, because you know they can be difficult conversations.
Absolutely.
They can be difficult
for a lot of people. But the bottom line is, if you're helping somebody, then it's something we can all get involved in.
Absolutely.
Right, you know?
And aren't all of the children all of our children?
Yes, 100%.
And it should not matter where they live or
what they believe.
Exactly, or what their story is. They need help. They are our future. Not to be cliche, but they are our future.
Yes.
And there is nothing more important than I can think of than investing in than our kids. And if you can't do it monetarily or through items, there's a great need for mentors for our kids. There's a great need for foster parents out there for our kids. There's a lot of way that the community can help. And if they can help monetarily, please still call us, because there's lots of help that we could use, for sure.
Well, you know, and you think about it like, so we're talking about helping people, and we're talking about especially helping our children. And look at us, we each have a smile on our face. It just makes you feel good too. Do good and feel good, right? But let's get a little personal on the show as well. So you know, we are so blessed in this country, in this community, to have amazing leaders like yourselves. Tell us a little bit about your stories, and I know, Amelia, you touched on it a little bit. You came from the profit world, on how you got involved, and did you ever imagine that this would be where you are at?
Quickly, when I came out of college, I worked in the nonprofit space in some pretty intense environments, and then went to business school, and many decades later found myself back here. And it was really kind of the end of a circle, which was sort of strange. I was sitting in Atlanta, working in my own business, minding my own business.
So were you an entrepreneur?
At that time, I was an entrepreneur.
Right.
I'd spent a lot of time I have a bunch of different things in my background, but a lot of time in consulting. And at that time, I was an entrepreneur, and not looking to move to Tampa, and not looking to join a nonprofit. And found out about Lutheran Services Florida through a recruiter, and the next thing I know, I was interviewing with the executive team and moving my family down here, and 6 years ago.
Wow.
And it's the best move I could have made. So it's just, you know, to be able to be part of an organization that makes such an impact, even though I'm not on the front line doing it, but I'm, you know, sort of behind the scenes trying to help make their jobs easier, it makes me sleep well at night.
That's wonderful. So, and it's so interesting too to me. Like, you just never know when that email comes in, or that phone call comes in, and all of a sudden, you know, your whole life takes a whole new path. So, Lisa, tell us about you, though. So, tell us about you.
Thanks, Serena. So, I will tell you from the time I was in college, I just felt a calling to this type of work. I've been working with these families in crisis for about 28 years now. Again,
thank you for that.
Oh, of course. So 3 years, my last 3 years have been with Lutheran Services Florida. Did about 21 years with the Department of Children and Families, so still in that social services. But I came to Lutheran Services because I wanted to see the impact of the work that we do every day. In the last position I was in, I think DCF also does tremendous work every day. I didn't get to feel it. I didn't get to see it on the front line. And I think that I'm able to work so closely with our amazing teams on the ground, serving these families directly. That's what keeps me motivated to do this work.
That's wonderful. Do you guys have kids of your own then?
I do not have kids. I have dogs.
Dogs, but all of these kids and all like these.
She has
these
big
are,
dogs.
These are your families and your kids.
She has a whole lot of kids that she serves through the work that she does.
But the dogs are children, you know, to so many people. They are.
My husband always says, no, we don't have any kids, but you're serving about, 6,000 right now in one form or fashion.
Yes.
So I think we have some kids out there.
She has 6,000. I have one.
Absolutely. And how about you, Amelia?
I have one.
You have
he is
one.
finishing up 7th grade right now.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
So.
I have only one as well, you know, and so, yes, 7th grade. Oh boy. Yeah.
So you know the joys of being a mother of one.
Yes. Well, we thank you so much for being here. I want to give one final, we're going to put up the website again. 50,000 is the goal. June 24th, you said, right? So June 24th, 50,000. We don't know exactly how much is raised, but we also have another call to action. September 21st, the big party in Tampa. No location yet. Right, but
so be free to give me a call if you have ideas. I would love to be touring places.
Yes, absolutely. I'd also like to thank Akash Patel and his team at Elevate, who actually, they were the ones that emailed us and said, hey, can we get you guys, you know, on the show? Wonderful. So as we wrap up the show, do you have any last thoughts?
I just want to thank you, Sarina. Thank you for helping us to raise the awareness. Again, this is not something we can do by ourselves, and what better time than now with the times that we're living in to have the community step up for our families and our kids.
Well, I can't even tell you how much it means to me. Were you going to say something, Amelia?
Really just an echo, and I think when you hear us talk about the scale of need, it seems big, and one of the things I just try to say is, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
People do that, you'll move mountains.
Gosh, well, I love that. And what a great way, you know, to end the show. I mean, I feel so honored and privileged here, you know, at CP Communications and Red House Streaming to be able to have the executive control with an amazing team to share these type of messages with the community. So as we wrap up, once again, if you have a story that you would like us to share, please email us. So oftentimes you will see it will end up on the record or a Love and Dating in America. And please share the shows on, we're on multiple social media platforms to get the message out. And we're also on Roku, so you can, you know, it's a free channel, right? So download it. Free is good. Free is good. Again, Amelia Fox, this is Mayrose. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing everything about your amazing organization. Thank you, everyone, and stay safe. Have a great week.